What is up, everyone? Dan the Cardman back again. Today we're talking through the Liver King and how he maybe relates to some of the things we've seen from the great Curator in the past.
Spitting at them, and I think that goes to, showing the persuasive nature of your argument.
Some of you might say, well, who is the Liver King? If you know who he is, you might say, well, what the heck does a gym influencer have to do with trading cards? But I'm going to talk to that right now. Now, essentially, the Liver King is a pretty big and popular fitness influencer that you would have seen him more than likely, right? He would have popped up on Instagram at some capacity who, pushed this agenda of, eating raw meat, eating liver, so on and so forth, and very jacked dude, and very clearly was, a fake natural in the sense that he was taking steroids and lying about it. Now, some news has come to light in the last week or so that he basically confirmed that he was lying about not taking steroids. Again, some of you might say, what does this have to do with the great Curator? What does this have to do with trading cards? Well, essentially what was interesting is that More Plates, More Dates, who was a very popular gym and fitness influencer on YouTube, put out a video that basically talked through the whole Liver King situation. And me being a gym dude, obviously followed Derek from More Plates, More Dates. So I was like, okay, this is very interesting. I checked it out. It goes for an hour. It's a very good video. What's really interesting is that about 13 minutes in, Derek from More Plates, More Dates gets a helping hand from Zach Tellender, who's another influencer. And what Zach talks through, and it goes from minute 13 to minute 22, okay? What Zach talks to is how, for those of you with common sense, you probably would have worked out very quickly that, the guy from Liver King is a bit of a charlatan in the sense that you would have noticed very quickly that he was, lying about a lot of things, okay? People with common sense would have spotted that very, very quickly. And what Zach does is explains, what a charlatan is, three key definitions, or two key definitions, I should say, and three key elements within that you can sort of understand somebody's, agenda with regards to how they're communicating to you. Now, as I watched this content, a lot of light bulbs went off because it related to a lot of people within the trading card hobby that are sort of approaching things from a manipulative perspective. Now, I want to preface this by saying I don't hate Dan the Great Curator. I'm sure if we met, we'd actually get along because it looks like we both collect a lot of the same sort of stuff. I just think, as I've said before, he creates his content from a certain perspective where he's looking to maybe manipulate the narrative a little bit. He's playing a bit of a character, he's playing a bit of a heel. And I think it'd be really good if he maybe stopped doing it in the capacity that he does and, stop blocking people, stop creating this silo, because I think it would do him more good than harm, in my opinion. Now, a lot of people do not like the guy. I'm sort of indifferent. I just want to call out some of this, behavior when I do see it. Now, what Zach explains with regards to the definition of a charlatan is he gives two brief examples of, what a charlatan would be based on, multiple different definitions. And essentially he says, number one, a charlatan is somebody who pretends to have an expert knowledge or skill that they don't actually have. Okay, that's very key, that they don't actually have, but they pretend to be this person that has all this knowledge and skill, or they apply this knowledge or skill to do, disingenuous behavior. The second point is they're also a malicious trickster in the sense that they are a fake person and their sole purpose is to try and generate fame and wealth for them, as much of that as possible. Now, he talks through these things, in particularly the knowledge, skill, and personal profit elements. And now he'll probably explain this a lot better than I can. And as I'm talking to this, I'll probably put up things on the screen, clips, so on and so forth, for you to sort of see some examples from the great Curator yourself as to how he fits within these buckets. Now, again, I'm not here to create hate content towards this guy. I'm just flagging it because some of this behavior is contradictory. I don't like some of the things he says, and I think it would be good if some people could see this and sort of say, you know what, maybe you should stop doing certain elements of this because, it's good to have discourse and discussion within the hobby. Now, the first thing that Zach explains within this video is the knowledge component, right? And he basically says, well, you as the viewer, how do you differentiate between somebody that has knowledge and doesn't have knowledge? How do you understand who's looking after you and who's looking out to harm you? Well, the easiest way that he explains it is that some people that convey knowledge to you, the good guys aren't going to come to you and say they have all the answers. And they're not going to come to you and say, you know what, you have to listen to me, everybody else is wrong. The good guy will say, you know what, this is what I think, but you need to form your own opinion and you need to go down different avenues to substantiate and build your own opinion on the situation. Whereas, the shyster, the charlatan, the manipulator will say, you know what, don't listen to what he's saying, don't listen to what he's saying, don't listen to what she's saying, you got to listen to what I'm saying. And that's what they're going to do, right? Because they don't necessarily have all the knowledge, and they're a bit concerned they're going to get found out for not having all the knowledge, or they're concerned that they don't have enough knowledge to retain you as a viewer. So they want to come out and sort of control that narrative by saying, don't listen to anybody else, just listen to me, which again is a very poor situation to take.
And we need to form a tight-knit circle around our community, our people. We need to form a tight-knit iron circle around this where we can be the gatekeepers, Okay, I think it's a responsibility. If you're a content creator, it's your responsibility to be a gatekeeper and keep out that negativity.
And as you saw by that clip, it's nothing new, to be honest. And the way they sort of do that, and the way that's defined, is it's an in-group and out-group mentality. It's us versus them. And they leverage their skill set, their marketing skill set, their ability to manipulate people to, apply that in-group, out-group mentality. They'll use their skill to say, you know what, don't listen to these people. We need to create a small circle. It is us against them. And you'll see clips on that as well, as I'm sure you maybe already have. But one other example from today, actually, that the great curator did was that he sort of grouped everybody that sort of creates negative content as people that are the same people that stormed the Capitol on January 6th, which is a completely ridiculous thing to make, right? As you can see on screen right now. How are they comparable? How is somebody that calls out PSA for doing dodgy things, calling out Panini for doing dodgy things, calling out Breakers for doing dodgy things, the same as the people that rioted and stormed the Capitol? How is that comparison even a fair one to make? And that goes to what I said a little bit earlier with regard to this in-group, out-group mentality. That's how he's trying to paint people that are against him, right? They're not just people that have differing views. They're trolls. They're haters. They've got nothing good to say. They're people that riot. They're people that, rob stores. They're people that do all this dodgy, illegal stuff. They're the people that are against him. It's not just somebody that has a differing view. It's that mentality. So my perspective is, why do you have to be like that? Why do you have to make that distinction? As I've said before, you can like what somebody is saying and also hate what somebody is saying, but that doesn't mean they're a bad person, doesn't mean you're a good person, doesn't mean you're a bad person, doesn't mean they're a good person. It just means you have a differing point of view. So when you've got people that are trying to control this narrative about what you as an individual have access to, should be pretty alarming. The fact they want to control this narrative should be pretty alarming. And they also called out in this video that Zach Tellender does in this Derek More Plates, More Dates video is that, the end goal for the charlatan, the end goal for this person that's trying to manipulate the situation is profit and fame. And they want to do whatever they can to try and get there, right? And they don't really care about you as the viewer. They don't care about educating you. They don't care about entertaining people. Their end goal is the fame, right? They want nothing more than the fame. They want nothing more than the engagement.
Joe Rogan said something to the effect of, I don't think he's doing any of that. He's got an ass full of steroids, that guy. What do you think of that comment?
I couldn't be more grateful that he's talking about me. Joe Rogan said, this guy, man, look at how happy I am. Look at how many people that have never heard of me have now heard
River
of me.
King? Who?
The hobby. But what's important for people to understand is that we are content creators. So everything that we do is within the goal of getting engagement with our followers or even non-followers, to promote our pages so that our posts go viral, so that people are suggested to follow us, so that we get certain monetary opportunities and things like that. That's what this is about. Okay. And yesterday they fell right into my trap. They fell right into my trap yesterday because I got huge engagement numbers yesterday because
Now, for somebody like me, do you think I care about, the revenue I make from my YouTube channel? No, it's not a whole lot of money. Do you think I care about the views? Yeah, those things are nice. If YouTube doesn't work for me, it doesn't work. I don't create content on YouTube for that views, for that attention, for that engagement, for that money. I create content to educate you as the viewer. Now, again, the person who, wants to be a charlatan, wants to manipulate, only care about the fame.
Everybody that makes content, we don't do it, just to do it. We do it because the goal is to get engagement with people. So that's what people have to understand. Okay, that's the first thing. So everything we do is for exposure.
Now, I think Dan is somebody that wants to be famous. That's the vibe I get from the guy. And like I said, I don't hate the dude, but I think his emphasis is focused in on being this big dude, being this influence, and he's concerned that he maybe doesn't have the knowledge to sort of get where he needs to be. He's concerned that maybe he doesn't have all the information. He's concerned about what he wants to share, because why else would he be so restrictive on, who he allows to comment on his channel? Why would he be so restrictive about who he wants you to talk to as a viewer? Like, why be so controlling from that perspective if you don't really care? Now, again, I probably talked in circles now, and some of you might not find the comparison like I did, but please go watch that 13 minutes to 22 minutes in the More Plates, More Dates video, because you'll see for yourself that actually, there are some comparatives here. I think it is worth looking into, and I think it's worth calling out. And the guy, as in Dan, might come out and say, he'll talk about it in a live stream for sure, like he always does. He pretends he hates negative content, but he talks about it a lot in his live stream for somebody that hates it. But he'll come out and laugh at me and say, this idiot Dan the car man, he tagged me in his video, he got me more engagement. It's like, dude, I tag everybody in my videos because that's the right thing to do. I'm not here to control the narrative on who people can and can't communicate with. If you have a differing opinion, that's fine. But I'm calling these things out because this is the optics that people have of you when they see you saying these things, when they see you doing these things, it raises eyebrows and makes it hard to trust you as an individual. I'm sure you're a really nice dude. When these things are happening, how do you expect people to react? And then you sort of double down by blocking them and sort of shutting down that point of view. Like, you could win a lot more love within the hobby by being a bit more open and sort of leaning into this sort of stuff and saying, you know what, I've got a thick skin. Yes, I don't agree with what these people are saying. If you don't agree with what people are saying, call them out. Say, you know what, I don't like what these guys have said. Even if you don't want to waste your time talking about it on your channel, and you talk about it for 2 seconds on your live stream, just say that. Just say you don't agree with it. But it doesn't mean you have to block people and sort of, create this little silo and this little isolated view for you and only your fans to sort of interact within, because you're doing a disservice to your fans. The second that you as an individual block yourself off from the content and the viewpoints of other people, right, you've sold yourself short. You as an individual can grow, become knowledgeable by being open to all opinions, making your own point of view, making your own judgments, right, forming your opinion based off everything. The second you stop doing that, you've sold yourself short. Now, again, some of you might say, or he might say, well, I don't want to talk about it all the time. I don't want to have to not block people and then have them spam my chat and me have to address it every time. It's like, mate, well, you do it anyway. You're already talking for 30% of your live streams on negative content and responding to them in the first place, because you know what? Your end goal is to get more engagement, like you've said. You want the attention. You secretly love the attention. You're begging for Sports Code Radio to talk about you. I bet you got very disappointed the other day when they said they don't actually really care about you. I'm sure that sunk and hurt your feelings a little bit. And again, I'm not calling you out specifically. I don't want to hate on you. I'm not creating hate content. But when you do all these things, you can understand why people don't like you, why they can't trust what you're saying, why they accuse you of pumping and dumping. It's a very strange narrative to have. And honestly, if you ever want to have a chat with me, I'm happy to have a chat. I'm happy to come on your live stream and you and Merlin to ambush me. Like, it is what it is. I don't really care. I'm not a hater. I just want the hobby to be a better place. And some of these things you could make a lot better by simply not creating this in and out, mentality, these in and out groups. Be open, be honest. That's all I ask for. I hope you liked the video. Thanks for watching. Please share your thoughts down in the comments below, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers.